multiplication. We're still working with decimals here. We still follow the rules for positive and negative numbers. Even though they're not integers, we still follow the rules. So for multiplication, negative times a negative is going to be positive, but negative times a positive or positive times a negative, those are both negative. For multiplication, I'm not going to go into why this works this way. I'm just going to go into the procedure of how we do it. This video would be a lot longer if I went through the explanation part. So for multiplying, we multiply the numbers. Don't worry about, place value. And then after that, so after you get the product, then you're going to place the decimal. And the way you place the decimal is you count digits, how many digits there are behind the decimal. In both numbers, and then you move from right to left to place the decimal in the quotient, or not quotient, in the product. Okay, so that's a lot of words and kind of a odd way of writing out the explanation, but hopefully you've done some problems like this somewhere in your past, and so hopefully it'll all come back to you. Okay, so I have negative, on this example 3, I have negative 4.5 times 6.107. So I usually take the one that has the most digits and put it on top. 6.0, oops, no, 6.107. Now I still put the decimal when I write it because that's where I'm going to count from. And then I'm going to be multiplying by 4.5. I know it's negative. I don't want to put a negative sign because then I'm afraid it might look like subtraction, but in my final answer, it's going to be negative. Now, if I have to do this by hand, and sometimes we do, this is like my work over to the left here that I'm doing. So then I do the multiplication. 5 times 7 is 35, carry the 3, 5 times 0 is 0 and 3, 5 times 1, 5 times 6, remember multiplying by hand? Okay, so you move over one place. 4 times 7 is 8. Carry the 2 now. And so that's 4 times 0 is 0, 2. I want to try to do it neatly. 4 times 1 is 4. And then 4 times 6 is 24. Okay, so that's the multiplying part. I'm running out of room here. Okay, so now I add 5. 3 and 8 is 11. Carry the 1. 6, 7, 8, 0 and 4, 3 and 4 is 7, and 2. And then now I have to place the decimal. So I've done the multiplying, now I have to place the decimal. So I'm counting how many places are behind the decimal in both factors. So there's 1, 2, 3, a total of 4. So I'm counting those places. There's 3 digits behind the decimal, or to the right of the decimal in the first number, and 1 digit to the right of the decimal in the second number. So a total of 4. So I go from the right, and I'm counting over 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's where I place the decimal. So this is all my work, and then my answer is going to be negative 27.4815. They didn't ask me to round it off, so I'm writing it out, and there's the answer. Okay, now when we multiply by powers of 10, and sometimes we do that, it's a little bit easier. So for every 0 in your power of 10, you move the decimal, for each 0, you move the decimal 1 to the right, because your number is going to get bigger, okay? So we have some example 4 here that shows this. So we have the number 2.58. And when we want to multiply it by 10, then I've got one decimal place, 1 0 in the 10, so it's going to move one place to the right. And so I get an answer of 25.8. Okay, so it's a little bit easier to do. You don't have to write all that multiplying and work that out, because we know it's 1 times 258, that it's just a matter of having a 0. It's because we're in a base 10 system. That's what we have to work with. Okay, so now we're going to take the 2.58 times 100, and that's going to move the decimal place 2 places because we have 2 zeros. So my answer is going to be 258. Okay, and then finally 1,000. So I'm going to take my decimal 2.58, and I have to move it. There's 3 zeros, so 1, 2, 3. Notice I ran out of digits. So my number is getting larger, and I need my decimal to be here at the end, so I'll have to fill in a 0 for the ones column. So my answer is going to be 2,580. So say you made $2.58, I don't know, an hour back in the old days, and you worked 1,000 hours. Well, then you'd get $2,580. Okay.